Hey Diablo fans, it's Inventor here, and this video is a leveling guide for the Minion Necromancer in Season 4. This build is amazing for leveling, and I got into World Tier 4 with it solo in under 2 hours, so I wanted to share my setup with those of you who might be interested. Here we'll cover gear, skills along with Book of the Dead, Paragon Boards, and how to level. So let's get right into it. Starting off with our gear, the main thing we care about is to get through the capstone dungeons. For the first capstone dungeon, we need to stack over 2500 armor so we don't get one-shotted, and this will come from our helm, chest armor, gloves, pants, and boots. We also need weapons with over 300 item power to have good base damage, and then we'll use the tempering recipe Natural Finesse to gain a ton of extra damage. You can learn Natural Finesse after reaching level 15 by going to the blacksmith in Kiovashad and opening the blacksmith's lockbox, and we'll use it on our gloves, weapons, rings, and amulet. For the most damage possible, ideally we want to roll damage to distant enemies since we should stay far away from our minions anyway, but generic plus damage is fine too. Preparing for the second capstone dungeon is pretty similar in that we need roughly 5000 armor to tank some hits, a sacred weapon to do enough damage, and ideally we also want 50% fire res so that Elias doesn't one-shot us. We can get extra fire res from gems and equipment, particularly through resistance rolls on our jewelry and armor. While you level, keep swapping out your gear for better gear that has higher item power or important defensive stats like armor or fire res, and just salvage everything else. Now as for aspects aren't really necessary before World Tier 4 since this build is already stupid strong even without them. But the one aspect that I would recommend picking up is Aspect of Reanimation so your minions can do even more damage. You can get this from Alderwood and imprint it onto your amulet, or your weapon if it's a two-hander. On the screen I'm showing other aspects that can help you if you find them in earlier world tiers, or if you want to run the corresponding dungeon for them, but you should be able to find these as drops in World Tier 4. Your offensive aspects would be Frenzied Dead, Grasping Veins, Inner Calm, and Unyielding Commanders, while the defensive aspects here would be Hardened Bones and Juggernauts. This build can also use some utility aspects, which includes Bloodgetters to buff yourself up, and Occult Dominion to gain more skeletons. In terms of gems, you can use Sapphires in your weapon to gain more vulnerable damage, Rubies for more life on your armor, and Rubies for more fire res on your jewelry. Finally, if you haven't already done so on another character, you can get some items from the Season Journey Rewards caches. As you collect Wolf's Honor from Helltides, you can get seasonal rewards from the Iron Wolves too. That's it for our gear. Now we can talk about skills and Book of the Dead. On your skill bar, you want Decrepify, Golem, Corpse Tendrils, Raise Skeleton, Hemorrhage, and Army of the Dead. Using these skills, killing monsters with your summoner should be pretty straightforward. If you see regular monsters or elites, open up with Decrepify to slow them down, then use Golem to do damage, Corpse Tendrils on the first available corpse for vulnerable, and Raise Skeleton to strengthen your army. If your skills aren't available, use Hemorrhage to try and keep your Fortify maxed out. Against a boss, start off with Army of the Dead, and then follow the same skill rotation. This is how our skill tree will look. The general idea here is to maximize the damage output and survivability of your summons. Skeletal Warrior Mastery, Skeletal Mage Mastery, and Golem Mastery are no-brainers in both of these regards. But when it comes to passives that just provide offensive bonuses for your summons, we're looking at Amplify Damage, Fueled by Death, Inspiring Leader, Hellbent Commander, and the key passive Callan's Edict. As for passives that give defensive bonuses, we have Spiked Armor, Death's Defense, Death's Embrace, and Bonded in Essence. Other passives that you'll have are Hewed Flesh to generate more corpses, Grim Harvest for more essence, Death's Approach to move faster, and Necrotic Carapace for extra fortify. As for Book of the Dead, you'll take the first upgrade on Skirmisher Skeletal Warriors to get an extra Skirmisher, the first upgrade on Shadow Skeletal Mages to get bonus damage, and the first upgrade on Blood Golem so that it can absorb 30% of the damage you take. Simple, right? Now when it comes to Paragon Boards, I cleared the second capstone dungeon at level 35, which was well before unlocking Paragon Boards. But if you insist on waiting until you unlock Paragon Boards, then here's what the first page could look like. Since minions now inherit all of your stats, you can prioritize nodes for resistance to all elements and armor for survivability, then pick up damage modifiers. This should be plenty to get you into World Tier 4. Once you get more Paragon points, you can use the following setup. Here we try to pick up modifiers for your minions, so we have bonuses like minion damage, minion attack speed, and minion life, along with additive and multiplicative damage bonuses. Looking at our Paragon boards, we use the starting board with the Warrior Glyph, Cult Leader with Dead Razor, Hulking Monstrosity with Amplify, Flesh Eater with Golem, Bone Graft with Corporeal, and the Scent of Death board without a glyph. These boards should get you up to level 100 pretty easily, but I would still recommend that you search for a guide that min-maxes Paragon boards for whichever Necromancer build you want to play in the endgame. Even so, you can find more info on the max roll character sheet that I provided in the description of this video. Because of how strong minions are now with all of the buffs that the summoner has received, you can start on World Tier 2 for the huge 50% XP boost. Remember to use Seasoned Blessings and an Elixir if those are available to you. Especially since there's no seasonal questline available, the leveling process is easy. From 1 to 25, run Helltides. You should just run Helltides non-stop for insane XP, elixirs, and Forgotten Souls. That's all you need to do. If you come across Hellspires, hit those to fight huge hordes of monsters to get even more XP. You can also do the Helltide Whispers, but they're not necessary. At level 25, complete the Necromancer class-specific quest, Call of the Underworld. This will unlock your Golem. From 25 to 28, unlock aspects in your Codex of Power, particularly Reanimation. You can grab other aspects for the future too if you want, but if you don't need any aspects, just keep doing Helltides. At level 28, you're going to clear the World Tier 2 capstone dungeon, Cathedral of Light. I recommend level 28 since that's when you unlock the Blood Golem to split damage with you. But you can go later if you don't feel ready, like if you don't have 2500 armor or a weapon with 300 item power or more. Remember to use the Season Journey reward caches if you have them. From 28 to 35, run Helltides in World Tier 3. Look out for sacred items, which are unlocked at level 35, to keep upgrading your equipment. At level 35, it's time to clear the World Tier 3 capstone dungeon, Fallen Temple. I recommend level 35 since that's when you can use sacred items, but realistically you should fight it once you have at least 50 fire res and sacred weapons. Having around 5000 armor helps as well. At this point, you should temper and imprint aspects onto all of your Gear 2. From 35 to 55, run Helltides in World Tier 4. Look out for ancestral items, which are unlocked at level 55, to keep upgrading your equipment. Also look out for a glyph worth leveling in the endgame, such as Amplify, Corporeal, Dead Razor, Exploit, Golem, or Warrior. If you're struggling to stay alive, you can instead do the Stronghold Temple of Rot in World Tier 4. Finally, from level 55 onward, run Nightmare Dungeons in World Tier 4 with a monster level roughly 10 levels above your character to continue leveling your character in glyphs. From here on out, you'll have access to pinnacle content like the Pit, Uber Bosses, and so on, but those are activities to be covered in a more endgame-oriented guide. With that all said, we are done covering the Minion Necromancer. If ever you were interested in giving this build a try and the thing stopping you was how weak it was, look no further. The Summoner was already great for leveling before, but with the buffs, it's now even easier to level, ensuring that you'll get to World Tier 4 and beyond in no time. Anyway, let me know if you want to see me do a leveling guide for a different build. Also, if you enjoyed the video, a like, comment, or subscribe is always appreciated. But otherwise, That's all for me. Adventure out.